Hello, my name is Richard Jones, and welcome to my HSER 508 Interpersonal Communication Project. Let's begin. Next slide. My DISC profile, I'd like to tell you a little bit about that. My personality profile is a DI. I am known to be driven and inspiring. I'm both people and task-oriented. My strengths are being able to move forward while convincing others to come with me. My weaknesses that I'm too forceful or overly expressive. I have to guard against taking on more than I can handle. Next slide. Potential barriers to improving my conversation are conflict. Conflict is defined by Stewart as the interaction of interdependent people who perceive incompatible goals and interference from each other in achieving those goals. Next slide. My interventions are to avoid the inevitable, and conflict is inevitable, to manage communication spirals. Communication spirals happen when the actions of each person in a relationship magnify those of the other, and spirals can be either generative or degenerative. Next slide. Communication spirals. Generative spirals are developed when positive behaviors develop positive feelings, and those behaviors and feelings are reciprocated. Degenerative spirals develop when negative communications are reciprocated and then escalated. Next slide. In an attempt to improve communication, I'd like to learn about altering degenerative spirals, and my first response will be to alter your usual response or do what is unnatural. The second would be to change behavior. Act differently toward the individual in the given situation. Next slide. I also have difficulty with power struggles. I viewed power as distributive according to Stewart on page 410. Following reading Stewart, I now view power as distributive, integrative, and designated. Distributive meaning either or, either I have all the power or you have all the power. Integrative, both and, we share the power and work toward a solution. And designated, I give power to people in a certain relationship. Next slide. Solutions in the power struggles are, when I feel power is distributive, I will attempt the following strategies to be more influential. I will speak up and present a balanced picture of strengths as well as weaknesses. I will maintain composure, and I will attempt to maintain a calm analysis that directs attention to the problem. Next slide. In addressing noise pollution is both internal and external. Problems of noise pollution internally primarily involve the influence of responsibilities other than the current topic of discussion or activity. External noise pollution involves those individuals and things that clamor for attention, such as car inspections, the grass that needs cut, children, spouses, and the influence of outside forces such as corporate policy changes, traffic pattern redirections, and working through personal changes. Next slide. My interventions for internal noise would be to remind myself that every issue as well as every person is important, and out of respect, I should give my complete attention to the issue person as I would like the same from others. Next slide. Interventions for external noise pollution are more difficult in that control of when and how they interject themselves into our lives is beyond our control. As such, being prepared for such events by using self-talk such as embracing the inevitable, Mama said there would be days like these, and other phrases that would help me through the initial strain. Next slide. My action plan for individual conflict is I will implement active listening, perspective taking, reframing, and brainstorming. Next slide. My action plan for group conflict would be to focus on the pursuit of common goals, refocus the group on our common goals, as I mentioned, allow others to talk about themselves, encourage team building, and talking about the conflict, not necessarily to resolve it. Relieving the tension by reducing the pressure to solve the issue. Next slide. In an attempt to enlarge my conversation with others, I follow the SELF model. SELF stands for safety. I attempt to maintain physical and emotional safety for myself and those around me. I also focus on emotional management, which is managing emotions in ways that is not harmful to myself or others. I acknowledge loss in my life and may seek support as necessary, as I recommend those around me do the same. And future, a focus on building a positive future. That's my presentation. I want to thank you for watching. Good night.